Constant Nieuwenhuis was born July 21st, 1920 in Amsterdam. He was a painter and an architectural visionary who began an obsessive conceptual proposal to redesigning the city. It lasted for almost 20 years and has inspired countless young architects. Constant, along with fellow situationalists, created a post-monetary city of infinitely reconfigurable spaces. He envisioned a utopia of total automation where the need to work was replaced with a nomadic life of creative play. The New Babylon utopia was built on a basis of automated farming and collective ownership, with no fixed times and labor. It was driven by the assumption that every human being is creative and that the aggression associated with cities takes root in not being able to express this creativity. His city was made up of a massive network of multi-level interior spaces that would span across the country. These interconnected spaces float above the ground, perched on 15 to 20 meter tall columns, whilst vehicular traffic rushed underneath and air traffic landed on the roofs. This type of design allowed the city to be accessible at any point from vehicular, public, and air transit. These interior spaces allowed every citizen to be able to adjust the light, sound, temperature, and atmosphere of where they occupied, ultimately giving power to the people so they can work, live, play, eat, and sleep according to their own desires. Spontaneous interaction with the architecture that surrounds them became a way for citizens to visualize their needs and make them a reality. New Babylon's method of disorientation is seen primarily in the postmodern architecture of today. Daniel Libeskind's Imperial War Museum, Rem Koolhaas and OMA Seattle Public Library, and Frank Gehry's Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, Spain are all examples of postmodernist deconstructivism, which began in the late 1980s. In short, deconstructivism is based on the idea of fragmentation, which is the manipulation of the skin and other mechanics of the building. It gives rise to the controlled chaos concepts most often associated with the architecture of today. Constant always saw New Babylon as a realizable project, which started provoking intense debates at schools of architecture and fine arts about the future role of the architect. Constant insisted that a collective form of creativity would replace the traditional arts. He positioned his project at the threshold at the end of art and architecture. His work was published widely in the 1960s, and Constant had a prominent position in the world of experimental architecture. Unfortunately, after his extensive studies and development of New Babylon, the project had not been displayed since he stopped working on it in the 1970s.